Happy Monday, everybody. I think the moral of the story when you look at the weather, it's an external force. And when it comes to life and ourselves, we're all internal forces. And look, ultimately, our actions, our thoughts, our choices, because really a day is a culmination of choices made in 1, 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes, seconds, minutes. And look, what I want all of us to focus on is kind of just controlling on what's going on in here, right? As I would say, control the controllables. And so today we're going to talk about seller questionnaires. And as you can see, a lot of the work we've been doing has been around really the word clarity. The more clarity that we have as agents, the more clarity we can give our clients. The more clear and concise we are in what we offer, how it's offered, aligning with their expectations, the better the experience is going to be for the other person. And you can build your entire business this way, right? On repeats, referrals, and providing great service. Because once you can make something quantifiable, then they have something to share with somebody else. So what I want you guys to think about is any time that we come up with content to session or anything, and I've shared this previously, but write these 3 words down. Think, feel, do. Think, feel, do. So when working with someone selling their home, ultimately at the end of the experience, what do you want them to think? How do you want them to feel? And what do you want them to do? What do you want them to generally think is that all their expectations were exceeded, that you were organized, that you over-delivered, that it was a very predictable experience and you helped organize chaos. How do you want them to feel? Well, that's different based on everyone, but at the end, I'd want them to feel secure. I'd want them to feel connected. And I want them to feel that they should share this with their friends because we brought certainty to an uncertain situation. And what do you want them to do is be your raving advocates and tell everyone that they should work with you. And I think so much of our business is focused on new stuff, new leads, and everything else. And we tend to forget where we spend our time every day and where all our business comes from. That's why the data sheet is so important. So when we start talking about seller questionnaires, why are they important? I'm going to go through the why, what, how of this. Why are they important? Look, it's an opportunity for you to learn more about your client's home and all the things in it. And also you can take it one step further in asking them questions like, what do you love most about your home? What have you enjoyed most in living in the home? What's the one thing about your home that you didn't realize was here that you now know about living here? What's close to your home that you enjoy the most, right? Like start talking about all these things. It creates a very different kind of interaction. The more curious you are about someone else, the more they feel they trust you. Remember, trust is a feeling created by interactions and engagements. So this is the process of building rapport, or whatever you want to call it, right? I would like to call it, this is the way of building a productive relationship where both parties feel that they're getting what they want, right? Because, someone said this to me a long time ago, a deal is only a good deal if it's fair for both people. Right? It's like relationships. If both people aren't getting what they want out of the relationship, over time, it's an imbalance and it breaks. Well, as agents, we take on a lot of abuse, right? From these phone calls, these emails, these text messages, unrealistic expectations. And look, a lot of that goes down to the beginning. And it's our ability to be able to practice what we're saying and have standards. Remember, who's your right client, who's not your right client. These are all things that are infinitely important in this process. And the more aligned you are on them, the better your business will ultimately be. So when we talk about a seller questionnaire, it's nothing more than a set of questions that you ask a seller, right? And you're going to learn about their home. Now, here's the really important part. Some places have disclosures. Some people have other things. It's not what you say, it's how you say and ultimately what you do with the information. So big picture, here's a strategy that I want all of you to implement. The entire purpose of finding out all this information is so that, one, you know about the home and you know how to show the property, you know how to talk about the property. But the bigger picture is so you don't have to lose money in negotiations for inspections and everything else. People take this information, they just stick it on a form and here's the disclosure. Well, here's the next step. You can create marketing booklets out of this. You can create these in pamphlets that you give out to people when they walk through the home. And you can also let all agents know if you're speaking with them before the showing or if they're interested in making an offer. My client has completely disclosed the age and information and updates of everything in their home, minus structural damages, mold, asbestos, and non-functional mechanicals. They're not going to take any money off the price as everything has been disclosed. So please make your buyer aware of that before making an offer. How many times have we seen boilers that are old and you literally see an old boiler in a house and then you want $10,000 for a new boiler because it's going to die in 2 years, right? Or air conditioning systems if you're out in California. All these things happen all the time because we don't know how to position our strategy adequately. We don't know how to present the information. We don't know how to walk the agent and the buyer's agent from here to here. But this is the difference between true professionalism and people that are just flying by the seat of their pants. Everything we have told you about is planned and purposeful. And all of these things connect together. How you choose to connect them together is your choice. From your value proposition to communication plans, to customer service processes, to how you share what you do, all of these things are built for one experience. And the more dialed in that you can get into this experience, the easier your business will be. See, people always say to me, well, this is all going to take so much time. No, you know what takes so much time? All those phone calls, emails, and text messages because your clients have no idea what the hell's going on. And then how do you expect them to get to the result of saying, yeah, this was really great for me? Selling your home sucks, right? Like, think about this logically. Someone's coming in your home and you live in your home and all the things are the way that you like it. They're going to tell you to paint this wall, take all your pictures down, all the magnets come off, and literally you want to make it look like a hotel. Then you have to leave your house a bunch of times where a bunch of strangers come in and nitpick the whole thing. Then the next step is they use positional bartering and they take a fixed position on one of the most sentimental and valuable things to you. And oftentimes it doesn't feel great. Does anyone ever stop and think about that? Now, how can we change that experience? The first part is learning everything about their home so you can protect their equity. So let me share this with you. And we've decided that we're going to add some add-ons of like additional questions and improve this form for you. And it'll be updated by the time we send our weekly recap. Because in going through this morning and just looking it over before this call, I realized that there's more we could give and we want to give it to you so that this way you have more to choose from. It's not just like our fixed, like, here's what you guys do. Sound good? Thumbs up. So you can fill this out with a client in advance, you know. Property, HOA's fees, what's the amount, what's included, right? If possible. Operating costs. You know how many people want to know what the electricity bills and all these other things are of a house? As soon as the buyer has to ask for it, it starts a whole different thing than if you're all prepared with it. Electric, water, sewer, if it's applicable, garbage, if it's applicable, right? You have people that are coming, like if you have people coming from New York City to the suburbs, like here in Westport, Connecticut, you have to pay for garbage. In New York City, it might be included in your building, right? There might be water and sewer charges in one area and not in another. You want to create clarity because what happens is when the buyers start finding out about these things after the fact, they start changing their price. And this has nothing to do with the actual price of the home. Landscaping, TV and internet service providers, maintenance, the roof type and age, exterior age, type, and the last time it was painted, if it's applicable, boiler and furnace age, hot water heater age. I would also go as far as adding the makes and models in here if you can. Water treatment type providers. Some people use water softeners and other things like that. That's applicable as well. Central air. Do you have a sub pump? Do you use pest control? Do you have a generator? Appliances, the oven, the range, the refrigerator, the dishwasher, the washer, the dryer, the microwave. All of these things are important to somebody. And the more transparency we have, the better of a service we provide. Additional upgrades. These are upgrades that you could have made to the house, right? Kitchen upgrades. We're going to add the years in here as well. Appliances, flooring, laminate, tile, cabinets, updated. Like this also helps you guys write your listing descriptions as well. Bedroom 1 updates. Bedroom 1 more floor, additional upgrades. Laundry room updates, right? And we're going to add additional bedrooms and everything. What has made this house your home? We'll add some more questions here. List the NAMs you're going to leave behind. What are you taking with you? Have you ever seen somebody get stuck on a light fixture? It's pretty crazy. Showing instructions. Can we attach a lockbox, which is applicable in some markets? Keys you have. Do you know how many people don't have garage door openers, and that becomes a whole nother thing that someone wants all this money in the end? These are all different areas for that. And that's it. It's pretty clear cut, but what you'll find in doing this is most people don't have all of this information organized. Raise your hand if you've seen that happen. So here's the thing. The time to prepare is before. The time to react is during. Buyer wants to make an offer and they want all this information. Your seller doesn't have the information, says, well, I'll get it later. The buyer doesn't want to make the offer till later. And therefore you just hit a roadblock. The seller wants their money and everything else that they've been working for. The buyer wants clarity and certainty in what they're paying for and all the additional charges. Do you see where all the problems go? Back to you. Whose fault is this, Howard? Yours or mine as the seller? We're going to blame you because we're not prepared. So how do we go and talk about this? I would say to Howard, Howard, it's not only important, like one of the challenges we've seen in maximizing equity in a home is the agent and the seller both put so much focus just on marketing and exposure, and they don't 100% take into account all the things that the buyer is going to be looking for when making an offer with clarity and certainty. What we want to avoid is stalling the offer, not having all the information that they need, them excessively renegotiating a home inspection because we weren't transparent, more than just a disclosure that most people don't read. And number 3, we want to create as much certainty as we can in this experience. So I'm going to go through a form with you where we can start getting information that'll help the marketing, that'll help protect your equity, that'll keep the buyers more informed so you find the right buyers. And this is our first step in the process in really getting to your goal of, and go back to their motivations and what they're excited about. All ties back to the Med C. Would that be okay? Would you agree to that, Howard? Yeah. So now I'm going to go ahead and collect all this information. I'd ask them to PDF me the last 12 months of their electric bill. I'd ask them to PDF me the last 12 months of their water bill and a lot of these other bills. I'd ask them to organize the landscaping and maintenance and what the gardener does and everything. What's pool maintenance is required, how often they do it, how often they test the chlorine. All of this information is important because guess what you do? You can literally turn this into an informational packet of how you live in the home, and that becomes part of your marketing and your listing presentation. Is that another thing that makes you different than all the other agents? 100%. You have to remember, real estate is a commoditized business, which means it's more of the same. And if you're in San Francisco, 50% of the entire market is Compass agents. So really what it comes down to is how you present and what you have to offer and how it's all organized in the experience you provide. Or they're going to think Compass is like Maserati, where it's not. It's not like buying a car where you open the engine where everything's is the same. But that is the perception that people have. So how do we overcome the perception? Structure, process, and communication. Structure, process, and communication. So let's open up the chat. So hit yes if this is something that you're actually going to start implementing right away, because it's simple, it doesn't take a lot of practice or anything else. About half of you. Oh, wait, the number's growing. Look, if I were selling my home, 100%, I would have an inspection prior to doing it. 100%. Why wouldn't we want to do an inspection and find every problem? It's like if somebody said you're taking a test, would you like all the answers and the questions in advance? Yeah, you would. Well, this is the same thing. Okay, seller said they didn't want to do this until they decided to work with. Great. That's another good point to bring up. This is something you'll want to share with your client as part of your process and explain how they use it. Here's the information I collect. And remember the three things, right? It's to make sure that an offer, the challenges that agents find in not doing this is, yes, we spend a lot of time focusing on marketing, execution, driving traffic. But the second part of this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is that we're able to get you the highest offer, maximizing your equity and minimizing problems that we can avoid in advance. So essentially, we want to know everything about your home. So if you're showing the property, that we can show it well and speak to it. The second thing is we actually use this to create marketing collateral. And I would suggest all of you work within a Compass template and your brand and just build something out that looks like this. So then it becomes plug and play. Right. The third thing is that by doing this, we have a conversation with the agents in advance that we don't renegotiate home inspections, because we've fully disclosed everything here, and that we expect them to have the conversation with the buyer prior to making an offer. Look, there are good suggestions in the chat. Like some people do it to see who's serious. Personally speaking, if somebody sent this to me and wanted me to do all this information, I would add, for the people that say, I don't want to do this to who you choose with, I would say, regardless of who you choose with, regardless of who you decide to partner with for the sale of your home, it's most important that you maximize your equity. So in a good faith effort to help be your partner prior to even working with you, it's good that you take the time to find and gather this information, because it will be important to you in getting the highest offer possible. Remember, when you create a system, if someone's like, oh, we have a seller questionnaire, they don't know what to do with the information. They don't know how to communicate it. They don't know how to use it. They don't know what to say to another agent. They don't know any of this stuff. So how are they going to use it? People ask us all the time, why are you willing to give your slides, your content to everybody? You can use it, but you're cooking my recipe, so it's never going to come out the same. I always go back to little Italian grandmas and their meat sauce recipes. Grandma could give me her meat sauce recipe. There is a slight chance that I'm going to know how to do it, because there's going to be all these little things like put this thing at this point, wait 2 minutes and add this. Like there are all these little nuances when you do things, right? And your business is as unique as you. So we're going to give you a Google Sheet that's editable that you can do this. The 0 to 1 is already done for you. Add in questions. Like one of my favorite things is what do you enjoy most about the home that you found out after living here? You know how good of a conversation that is for people moving there? And remember this, a home is where you build memories. A community is where you live your life. And ultimately, in buying a home, we're figuring out how you can pair the best two things together. So when you start understanding like what is around from the seller, like where's the supermarket? I would add on to this. Where's the closest dry cleaners? You get people that are moving from out of town. Like if you're in a suburb in Westchester, Connecticut, everyone's coming from the city. So they're going to want to know all this information. Do you know how many buyers are undercover sellers today? A lot of them. So they see the way you're working and they're like, I want to buy this home. By the way, like, yeah, I'm with an agent, but I like the way that you work better. Can you sell my home? And if you can pre-fill it, then pre-fill it. It's your choice on what to do. I personally like to see the sellers actually do the work. If they ask, is there any of this information and everything else? Look, if they signed a listing agreement, I'm personally willing to do the work in going and pre-filling all the information. If they're not my client, I'm already giving them strategy and things that they could do. So let them do the work. And also the most important thing in this is you see how responsible the other people are for their side of the fence. If a seller pushes back, Antonio, is like, this isn't important, it doesn't matter, why do we need this and everything else? Remember this saying, how it starts is how it goes. So if this is how it starts, how do you think it's going to go? They're just going to bully you the whole time. So they're pretty much telling you, I want to pick the ingredients for your sauce recipe, but I want it to taste the way that when you make it on your own and what you're used to doing. Doesn't really work. Does that make sense? Good. So the next area that I kind of just want to touch upon is how we put this together is I'm going to go back to what we talked about last week. How many people still need role play partners? Hit yes if you have not committed to role playing. Good. We have honest people here today. Everyone that's hit yes here, you need to make this a priority to do it this week. And remember this quote, choose the changes for yourself before the world chooses them for you. Choose the changes for yourself before the world chooses them for you. If there's anything that you can learn in real estate is how many of these shifts have happened that agents have not been prepared for, and agents lose tons of money. Tons. Think about it. Go all the way back to when listings became public. People weren't prepared. Zillow wiped out more agents than I've ever seen in my life because people didn't want to adapt to online leads. Well, if you're not understanding that there are class action lawsuits, that people have more choices, discounted commission is available more than ever, you're literally saying to yourself, I don't have 30 minutes a day to protect the financial interests of myself, my family, or the people I care about. It is absolutely insane. This is your business. This is your career. Make the time for yourself first. This is what I call a carefrontation. I care about all of you. I want you all to have a life that your business fits into, right? Where you can plan all the things for yourself, your family, your friends, your trips, and your business is so structured that you can go anywhere and that it works. Life's about building memories and fulfillment. And you know those days that you have where no one's bothering you, everything's in alignment, and you remember what like actual life is like. And then all of a sudden you go back to your phone, email, text, and that like knot goes in your stomach. And then you feel guilty about what you just did. Well, by the way, when you create predictable businesses and plans and structure and everything else, you don't have to worry because everything is organized and the other people are in alignment. When you're a new agent, you kind of have to get what you get and kind of be happy about it, right? Because you're starting off, that's the climb. But a lot of us on this call are far past that place, especially if all your business are past clients and centers of influence. All you have to say is, hey, this is the exact process we used that your friend was happy about that got the results. It is the same process. It's just more structured and boundaries. And by the way, people like boundaries and structure in every business. People work off of calendars, and you realize that none of this stuff is time sensitive. There are very few things that can't wait several hours or a day. Most of it's people's anxiousness and fear of the unknown. That's all that it is, guys, gals. So for the people that didn't sign up, the role play information is there. That means 150 of you are role playing. So at some point, we are going to sit down, and I think they have this slated in the playbook for the next 6 months. It's this one. I think we have like another month and a half left. We have a whole session on role playing, literally on how to role play, what it's like. We'll watch people do it live on the call, where I'll be able to give feedback, and we really go through it in detail. If you email csccommunity@chiragshahcoaching.com and you guys want to re-up, feel free to do so. But this is all going to continue to evolve, right? Role playing is the crucial next step in confidence. Consistency creates confidence. That's it. Anything you've done in your life that you feel comfortable about has been with consistent action. So time block your calendar, make sure you get a role play partner, keep the promises you make to yourself, because they're the most important ones. And that's life, everybody. That's what I got for you on a Monday morning. I see a lot of smiles. I see a lot of cameras. And look, I'll never miss an opportunity just to say thank you to all of you. Every day you continue to show up, and these last several months has been incredible with all of you. It's been a fun journey. We've seen so many people get to know each other. You know, we have like this fun little coffee talk that's kicked off every morning where people get to know each other. And you guys are really building a community with each other. And I'm even more excited for the people that are going to go through and take trips to other markets. If you want to mastermind, go meet up in somebody's market, or go meet up in a halfway location and spend a day building out all these systems together. Get a bunch of big Post-it notes and work. Listen, this business is a lonely business. And as Robert says, nobody succeeds alone. Together, we can always be more. So reach out, build these relationships, and keep growing. So as always, with love in my heart, I love you all. I will see you tomorrow. We have an awesome system on the client portal. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I think Chirag signed me off a little early for me there. I just want to have a quick chat. This is Trisha Barlow. For anyone who hasn't met me before, I'm ex-Compass. I'm the new program manager for the new end-to-end program that we're developing. A couple of weeks ago, we asked if you would be interested in reviewing some of our user guides. We had got great response. Anybody who has responded, we've acted on your feedback. We really love it. But we also would like to open it up to more responses, because, like, quite honestly, we're a little bit greedy and we want to get as much as your input as possible. So I'm just going to see if I can share my screen. Yes, I can. Yay, me. So here we are. If you're interested in giving feedback, you could just scan this QR code and it'll open up this, this user guide, where you can just put in your name, what guide you reviewed, and which ones you want, you know, what you thought about your feedback. But what we've done is we've added a link up here on the top, which will allow you to review all of them if you want to. Before, we were assigning user guides to whoever wanted to do something. I'll go back to the QR code so you can scan it again. And now it's about basically you go through as many of them as you want and give us your feedback. We're not dishing them out or anything else like that. We're letting you select them. So when you scan this QR code, you will also get access to the Google Drive. And from there, you can just review all our user manuals. If you have any questions, you can give us a shout on e2e@chiragshahcoaching.com. Kept it really simple, end to end. E2E, if you have any questions or anything at all, we want to hear from you. Where anybody who has responded can attest the fact that we are taking your feedback seriously and we are implementing. And yeah, just being a little bit greedy and looking for more feedback. So if you're interested, just scan that QR code and let us know what you think of these user guides. And they're all bite-sized. We don't want anything too big. Okay, take care. Thank you. Does anybody want me to add that link